Greetings, good people. My name is Jimmy Warren, and you are here watching ArkanTalk, an Arkansas Times exclusive. And today we have Miss Jamee McAdoo. Jamie, thank you so much for coming on. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Awesome, awesome. For everybody who doesn't know, tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Jamee McAdoo, also known as Jim. J-E-M are my initials, but also like a gem, a G-E-M. I'm rare, unique, worth millions, da-da-da-da-da. I'm a professional poet, an award-winning playwright, a former on-air radio personality, and a published author. I published a book of original poetry at the age of 16 that touched on various topics that I have been dealing with throughout my life. I'm currently a freshman at the Jackson State University in Jackson, Mississippi, and I continue to use my voice to speak up for things that I think I should talk about.
Awesome. So freshman, so you're like what, 18?
Just turned 18.
So accomplished playwright, artist, poet. Where do you find inspiration for all these things?
Oh, I grab my inspiration from everywhere. My parents actually both worked at a poetry radio show, so I like to say that poetry is in my blood. So growing up, I would hear them practicing and sharing pieces with each other, and I would run back in my room inspired, so I started writing. So I started writing about, crushes and little kid stuff, but as I grew older and I learned more about the world, I would start writing about police brutality or inequity or the different things going on in the world. So I pretty much draw my inspiration on my own thoughts and how I see things that are going on.
Yeah. So, the daughter of the great LaRon McAdoo, the hip optimist, and also Arkansas Teacher of the Year, Miss Stacy McAdoo. So I can see where education and the arts collide. What was it like growing up in that household?
Right. My parents have always stressed to my brother and I the importance of education and the importance of the arts. So as you said, I'm kind of the intersection. They took us to a lot of museums and they took us all over to try to get more exposure about things going on in the city as well as globally. So we learned a lot about the news, we learned a lot about history and education and how education is the key to success.
Yeah. So rewind me back, and even before last year, Miss Heritage. For those who don't know, tell them about the pageant system and how Miss Heritage actually was implemented.
Well, I'm not a pageant girl. I didn't have much experience in pageants until a family friend said, you have a great talent, you're very well spoken, I think you should try this pageant. I was like, okay. So I tried Miss Heritage. It was my first pageant. I was very nervous and I won. So that was like a qualifier for me to compete in the Miss Arkansas Outstanding Teen competition. So I won Miss Heritage's Outstanding Teen, which basically is a way to bring diversity into the Miss Arkansas pageant system. So I was the only black competitor out of the 39 teens in the competition, and I placed third runner-up, so top 5.
Yes.
And I won awards every night. I won Alpha Talent, Alpha Best Interview, and Alpha Best Onstage Question.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, in the pageant system, when you're talking about awards, those translate into scholarship dollars. And I saw on social media, which I know that you're very social media heavy, that you were actually pouring into the younger generation by telling them what different scholarship opportunities are out there. If you don't mind, can you tell or just talk about how your scholarship journey was and what you were able to accomplish with scholarship money?
So my mother always said she's not paying for college. She said my brother and I are leaving college debt-free. So scholarships have always been the route to go for us. And monthly, I would go to my counselor's office. I would ask teachers, do you know any scholarships that could apply to me? So I always try to tell high school seniors currently to talk to teachers. They love students who are who are asking for scholarships. Talk to your teachers, stay in your counselor's office. If you have a hobby, search stuff that could pay you for your hobby. My parents also always taught me to monetize my talents. So I made a lot of money selling my books or performing different places. So scholarships have always been important because the money is out there. You just have to search and you just have to ask people for it. So I am going to Jackson State on a full ride, and I had $30,000+ in scholarship money.
All right. That's amazing. So congrats to you.
Thank you.
We talked a lot about education, and there is a quote unquote crisis going on right now at Little Rock School District. What was it like for you leaving or graduating from Little Rock School District? Central High graduate, correct? Graduated from the prestigious Central High. What is it like now that you're gone off and completed your first semester of college? Looking back, how do you feel, or what's your thoughts on what's going on?
Well, it's very different because I do attend a HBCU. So this whole semester I've been surrounded by people who look like me. Then I came back a couple of weeks ago and we did the Little Rock School District Equity Tour, where we toured 2 different schools in the Little Rock School District and compared the resource deficit. And we wondered, why does this school in this neighborhood look like this and this school in this neighborhood look like this? So we discussed it, and it was interesting to leave my HBCU environment and come back home and see how inequitable it is between the school districts here. I believe that every student deserves a first-class education, every citizen deserves a world-class education, and every student deserves equal education, but there are more resources in certain areas of Little Rock than there are in others.
Absolutely. So as a former or as a Little Rock School District alum, what message would you tell if you had the opportunity to talk to the Board of Education or anyone? What message would you tell them from a former or recently graduate?
I think I would tell them to truly put the kids first. What do you think is the best environment for the students? Because a lot of times I feel like people in power of education are thinking from a money standpoint, or are thinking from their own personal perspective. And some of them didn't have education experience. So I would say to talk to the teachers and talk to the students to try to truly figure out what's best for the kids, because that's what education should be about.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what's next? What's coming? We have an album coming, a new book?
Yes, me and my brother have been discussing a little poetry EP, and I was like, Narelle, who's my brother, I was like, Narelle, people don't really listen to poetry albums, and he's like, exactly. So I possibly might come out with a spoken word EP. We've been thinking about doing YouTube, just little small stuff, but I know 2020 will be a successful year for my art.
Who are some of your favorite poets?
Ooh, favorite poets. I like Rudy Francisco, CEO Narelle, that's my brother. And I don't really research older poets because I feel like the poetry environment has changed. So like most people would say Maya Angelou or Langston Hughes. I don't really read the poets that they expose us to in school. So, and the world is changing with social media. So a lot of my favorite poets are people who I don't know their name. I just saw a random video on Instagram and I like it and I replay it all the time, or I came across something on YouTube. So it is kind of a different poetic environment in that I don't necessarily know that there are favorites in the game, but there are people who I can spot on social media and I'm like, yeah, I like what they do.
Awesome.
And so, yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna put you on the spot. I want to hear a poem.
Okay, well, I'll do my one that recently went viral with 20,000 views on Instagram.
Just 20,000?
I know, just 20,000, but we're still shooting for higher. Entitled Coastin'.
All right.
Lately I've been coasting, lately I've been floating, lately I've been coasting, lately I've been. It's easy to face darkness when you believe in light. Ignore when things go left, know it'll all end up all right. Smile despite pain because a rainbow needs rain. Never talk about yourself in vain. Diamonds can only form through pressure. Know that you are a treasure, that you grow through what you go through, that you're a gem, nothing lesser. You are a work in progress. You are a work of art, but it's a process. I realized this and I've been content ever since. Carefree, but not careless. Self-driven, but not selfish. Living life and loving life with no regrets. And lately I've been coasting, lately I've been floating, lately I've been coasting, lately I've been.
Awesome. Thank you. Yes, love it. Last thing, 10 years from now, you got a long longevity, maybe 50 years from now. What do you want the gym kind of brand or legacy to be?
That's a great question. To me, gym, even though it's my name, it's my stage name, but it's more than that. It's about knowing who you are, knowing your worth, and adding tax, and believing that you can be the best version of yourself. So whenever I say, oh, I'm going back to gym, or I need to get back in my gym vibes, that's being 100% authentic and genuine to who I am, doing what makes me happy, making my spirit happy, and all about self-love and self-care and being the best version of yourself.
Awesome. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, the talented and accomplished Miss Jamee McAdoo. If you look below, we'll have our social media handles as well as the 7 for 7 playlist in the blog, and we'll see you guys next week. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.